Hello, hello guys, it's Beloved Ad here. I'm coming to you with a little discussion video. Okay, so recently I've finished watching Code Geass, Lelouch of Rebellion, okay? Both seasons, excluding the mid passage, yeah. So yeah, I am going to admit that I did tear up in the last episode. And it's kind of weird because how I actually watched the series is because I was on YouTube checking out some stuff and I saw a video saying Lelouch's death and aftermath, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, cool. This anime, that was like the biggest spoiler, and I just said, might as well just watch it. So after watching it, I am really surprised that I had so much emotion at the end. Like before, when you don't know anything, you don't care, but at the end, it just touches you. And I watch it like 2 or 3 more times, the same part, and I teared up every time. So now, I think the reason why this is really, a problem because apparently you have a half people saying Lelouch is still alive, you have another half saying he's dead. Now, it is obvious that if you're just watching the anime and, piecing things together that Lelouch is alive, right? I'm assuming that you have watched it, so I don't need to put any clips. So, but however, the authors are giving a different scenario that he might be dead. Now, I realize what they are doing and I don't appreciate it. Basically, they want it to be a hot topic. Everybody thinks that Lelouch is alive, blah blah blah, gets stale after a while. But in this case, if they come up and say, oh, he's dead, then it gives other people a chance, say, oh, yeah, he is dead. They give them them evidence that he's dead just because the author says it. No, I think this was a plan to make, the series be talked about long after it's finished, like years after, around 6 to 7 years after the last episode aired, well, in that season. And I think they have done a pretty good job, but I don't appreciate it. No, it's obvious that Lelouch is alive, right? I'll give you some factors. Okay, so now, yeah, I think he got the code from his father when he killed him, as C2 of she clearly explained how it is someone can receive the code of immortality, that is, and how she got it. It's the same thing because she had to kill the person who gave her Geass powers, and it's the same thing that happened with Lelouch and his father Charles. So that I think that clearly explains that he has the code. Now, it wasn't activated as people were saying that if you have the code you can't use your Geass powers. Yeah, but it wasn't activated because remember, Charles, he died first before he came back. He shot himself through the heart, and then that's when he came back up. And after the bullets did nothing to him because the code was activated. In this same scenario, Lelouch hadn't died before. So when he got stabbed, that's when the code actually activated. And yeah, so that's just one factor. That's like the main factor that decides it. Okay, and about the flashbacks, I think that's another factor because when his sister Nunnally touched him after he died, well, after he was supposedly dead, she saw the flashbacks, right? The same thing happened when Zero touched C2, and yeah, he got the flashbacks too, and the flashbacks were of events that led up to her death or the reasons why she died at that point. And yeah, it would only make sense that after that moment, Nunnally would have seen flashbacks because that was Zero's first death or Lelouch's first death, and it showed the events that led up to the death, so you could understand why he died. Another factor is when in the closing scene, when C2 is speaking, she is referring to someone, right? Mariam is not there anymore, so she's obviously talking to the person driving the car. Who is that person? We don't know because the face doesn't show. But I think it is Lelouch because she mentioned solitude, and solitude means to be alone. And she did warn Lelouch that, the Geass powers in the end, if you conquer it, you will be alone, which happened to she. Because she was alone. after killing that person. And she says it's not quite accurate, which means that she's not in solitude anymore, nor is Lelouch, and he did master the power. So it clearly states that the person driving the cart, or the person she's speaking to, is physically in her presence. Physically, and that person has also conquered the solidity part. So I think that person driving the cart is definitely Lelouch. As you can see, it's hay, right? It was hay in the car, which means it's some country setting, farm setting. I remember Orange and the girl, I can't remember her name, Orange, or Jeremiah if you want to call him that. He was picking oranges, right? In the country. And Jeremiah knows about Geass and all of that. So I think it's obvious. He knows that Lelouch is alive and is immortal. He knows about C2. He knows everything. That's why he still has a smile on his face. You know, he's enjoying. He's still serving royalty. And another factor is when code when zero requirement was coming into play, right? It showed a clip of C2 praying in the church. Now that means is that she was praying, and she said, well, they didn't let it finish, but she was saying that after using your powers, that's where it ended, right? Because of using your powers, remember, C2 used her powers a lot, and what happened to her? She got immortality, and she did not enjoy it because she could have died. And she was afraid that Lelouch should suffer the same consequence. But it's kind of contradictory in the end, because she's now saying that it's not solitude. But the difference is that both people that have immortality are together in the end, so they can spend the rest of their lives together. So I think that kind of explains how Lelouch is still alive, and explains why the authors would say, they didn't come out and say he's dead. They just said, that, his story come to an end, because it did come to an end. Lelouch v Britannia is dead. Lelouch Laborga is not, actually. And it's kind of funny because, LL, L2, you have R, you have C2, V2, now you have L2. So I think that kind of pretty sums it up as to why I believe that Lelouch is still alive, and why we can put it to rest that he is still alive. As for a new season, I don't think a new season would be necessary. However, it would be nice if they could have like a little spin-off around 3 episodes or so, just to explain what happened, how certain things went on, like what happened after, or how certain things happen, like how did I keep on forgetting the names. Anyway, how did Night Zero survive and came back to kill Lelouch? So guys, thanks for sharing in the discussion. If you have any objections, you can put it in the comments. I'll also put the link to the anime in the description if you want to watch it. I'm sorry for the spoilers. I didn't see it necessary to put videos in the video, if that makes sense, because we're on a mutual understanding. I assume that you have watched it already, so you know exactly what I'm speaking about. And I think you can put it to rest that Lelouch is alive. Long live Britannia. Long live Lelouch.